In this tutorial, we're going to explain the sidearm balance and the various progressions and stages through it. I think sidearm balance is a perfect analogy for what the core muscles do. The core being the abdominals, the obliques, and the back muscles, the erector spinae. What they do is they don't produce movement, such as a crunch. That was not their intention. The intention of the core is to maintain rigid while the primary movers around the body do the move. Think of it as kind of like a slingshot. If the body bends, you can't get that whip. So the body has to maintain rigid while you extend the elastic and then let it go. So the elastic produces the force reliant upon the base of the slingshot staying rigid. Do you understand? Rigid body, nice slingshot. Floppy body, absolutely no power developed by the primary mover of the slingshot, which is the elastic. Now let's get back to the sidearm balance. The sidearm balance is so good because your core has to maintain rigid to allow your primary movers to do the job. Primary movers in this exercise: strong shoulder, strong tricep, rigid core to allow your legs to do the job. Sidearm balance is here. And on my push-up bars, I have a nice strong wrist around here. It's not flat. If you are doing a lot of yoga poses on a flat palm, ooh, that's leading yourself to a wrist injury, especially if you're a sport that relies on the wrists. If you're playing baseball, football, hockey, etc. You want to keep those wrists strong and healthy, not tweaked. So in a nice, deep, nice strong hold on this push-up bar, these are the spinny discs, so they actually allow me to rotate simultaneously. Great little tool. Cost 12 bucks, $12. Beautiful. Here we go. So we're in a nice strong plank position. What I'm going to do is get up on one arm and one leg. The shoulder is directly above the hand. We're not here and we're not too far underneath. It's nicely stacked. So the shoulder is happy and the tricep and the shoulder are strong. Core must stay rigid. If the core doesn't stay rigid, put too much strain on the shoulder, drop out of the move. That's the metaphor. That's the underlying factor. Core stays rigid to allow the primary movers to do the job. That's what all of your core training should be based upon. Not upon moving, but staying rigid. I cannot stress that enough. We're gonna go back to this position. We're here. And you're gonna notice that the core has to work to maintain this position. Okay? A view from the back using the left side. So we're here. Shoulder directly above the hand. Okay? Now the next progression is to raise a foot. Okay? So you're here. I roll onto the side. Arms up. Raise a leg to the sky. Now in the yoga moves, they sometimes stack a foot like this. This hip flexor and this abductor aren't working because I'm stacking it on my foot. Don't rob yourself of that growth opportunity. Get that foot out there. Core remains rigid to allow the primary movers to do their job. And a view from the other side. Once again, shoulder stacked above the hand, foot on the ground, Tighten that core, maintain rigidity in the core, raise a leg. Core remains rigid to allow the primary movers to do the job. The next progression would be to start adding a small amount of weight onto those limbs that are floating in space, okay? Small kettlebell in your hand, or a small ankle weight on your foot, or if you're really adventurous, both. But remember, there's no sense in adding the weight if you're all flopping around. You need to be strong and rigid, then progress to the next stage. So we're just gonna start with the foot, okay? So we're here, we roll over, shoulders directly above the hand, raise that foot. This entire hip is firing to hold that foot up in the air. Okay? And down. We're gonna ditch this because stacking both limbs is really challenging. We're just gonna do the one arm at a time. Figure out which way you like your kettlebell to be. I prefer to hold it like this and hold it in the rack position. Just like this. Just like this, resting on my forearms. Now it's locked in here pretty well, okay? So we're gonna get into position. I'm here, and I just add it overhead. And then I add a foot. Let's show you that from the back. Okay? First, I get the kettlebell into position. I rack it here. Nice and locked in. I get ready on my left-hand side. Strong shoulders, strong core, strong legs.